I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite
podcast
on the Citadel.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Andromenerds, a Mass Effect Andromeda podcast. I'm BioFan, and with me are my fellow co-hosts, Tucker from Mass Effect Follower, Anima from Anima Gaming, and Minius.
Hello, everybody.
Since this is our first episode, we thought it'd be best to fully introduce ourselves and then follow up with what we're most looking forward to in Andromeda. So I'm Anima. My YouTube channel is Anima Gaming, where I play all kinds of games ranging from epic tearjerkers to super cringe dating sims and everything in between. I mainly focus on comedy, but my overall goal is to make sure we have a damn good time.
Oh shoot, you have an overall goal?
Person.
I am in so much trouble
girl.
now.
Hey, Minius, who
I'm ready.
You actually plan something?
Who's this Minius person?
It's like a really quick Word document, like, just go for it.
All right, well,
My plans are on a sticky note on my desktop.
I'm Minius. I run a Mass Effect YouTube channel called Minius GC. I do not have an overall goal. I kind of just do what I want because I'm waiting for Mass Effect Andromeda to come. So, that's it.
Tucker?
All right, and
Nice.
finally, I am Tucker. I am from Mass Effect Follower, a channel dedicated to Mass Effect, I also go on Halo Follower as well, which is similar to Mass Effect Follower, but this one is all about Halo.
And what are you looking forward to most in Andromeda?
That's a question. Shit.
That's
I didn't think about this.
That's a question.
That's a question.
See,
My
here's the
question's
problem with that
that's-
is because I don't want to name one thing that I'm most looking forward to, because the number one thing that pops into my head is the multiplayer, but there's a second side of my brain that wants to make fun of that other side because that's ridiculous. Why? There's so much going on in Mass Effect.
In
when
an
I play
RPG game?
multiplayer, that shouldn't be on the same list, but it is in my head. So I don't blame you for not being able to come up with a single reason.
Should we move?
How about an entire new galaxy to explore? I guess that whole aspect, the unknown that is finally going to become known.
Should we move this into the later part where it's just what we want because we kind of tripped over?
No, we're rolling
we're
with
rolling
this.
with it.
This is all going in right here. Let's do this.
Okay, on that note, I'm BioFan. I am a Bioware YouTuber. I do videos on Dragon Age, Mass Effect, the new IP, all of that great stuff with news updates, interviews with voice actors and developers, trailer analysis, and tons of other cool stuff. I guess what I'm looking forward to the most in Andromeda, while it's pretty, I guess, easy to guess, story, because the Mass Effect storyline is amazing, but also just kind of seeing where they go with it, because we don't really know much about the story yet, so...
I feel like this is the first day of like kindergarten, and they're like, "Tell your name and what's one of your favorite kind of animals."
I'm not sharing my crayons.
Ooh. Can we do that anyway? I really like wolves.
Wolves, okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
I like foxes. Those are
Yeah. I like
Maybe
foxes.
a bear, but I don't
make-
want to be too close to it.
I'm a fox person as well. My favorite. Let's go.
All right.
We're fox people. Cool.
So I actually recently found out that Mass Effect has a movie. Have you guys seen that? It's like Mass Effect Paragon.
Yeah, it's
or
like an
something,
animated. Isn't Fred?
It's an animated movie
doesn't
about,
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Jack.
He's
Yeah,
in
it's
it?
James
Yeah.
Vega story. It's pretty
James,
much
not
the
Jack.
James Vega preview
Oh,
story,
wow.
which is
Yeah, it takes place.
His voice
Yeah,
work.
I'm
heard
gonna
of
watch
this.
that tonight.
His
but
voice
it's
work is
exciting.
good, but I've heard it's kind of like, like it's good, but it's not like you need to watch this kind of.
I went into it expecting to hate it, and then I enjoyed myself. So
Well, there you
go in like that.
I'm gonna go check it out tonight.
So we
I think
should
it'll be cool.
have like the lowest
I don't know.
expectations
I really
ever.
like
then we
Mass
can't go
Effect,
wrong.
so I got in there and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. These are cool artistic drawings of Vorcha and stuff." I'm like, I'm into it. All right, let's go. The only issue I had is that
I can get
if
into
you
this.
played Mass Effect 3, you know the ending to that, and it's a little bit less interesting because of that. But other than that, it's interesting. It's actually kind of
Right.
cool to see the way they animate biotics. There's collectors in it. It's not
And
elite, but
it
it's kind of
takes
fun.
place It takes place like between 2 and 3, right? That's kind of what I got from the trailers.
Yeah, it might be
I think
taking
so,
place
yeah.
during Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, because there's like
bleeds over a
collectors
little
in it,
bit.
isn't it?
Yeah, there's like a year gap in it or something like that.
Okay.
All right.
Have you guys seen any of the graphic
Yeah.
novels? I bought the Liara one because Bay, and it's really good. the like lead up to her being the Shadow Broker, because let's face it, that was
Shadow
awesome.
Broker DLC was fantastic.
Liara being the Shadow Broker.
I loved that.
That was the
DLC.
best. I loved that so much.
Oh, actually, on the topic of Shadow Broker DLC, I was researching some stuff for a upcoming video, and I found out that a cut part of the Shadow Broker DLC was that Samara apparently landed on Earth in 1588.
Wow.
And that
Whoa.
she actually caused the storm that destroyed the Spanish Armada that was going to invade England.
That's cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
So that was actually going to be canon, but they removed that.
Because it's weird,
But,
right?
Because
That's a little weird.
yeah, but I thought that was like really
Yeah,
cool. That
I mean,
that
I'm
like
so into it.
wow, okay.
yeah, I thought that was a really cool kind of thing that I learned while I was researching some stuff for a video.
That's really cool. I think I would have liked maybe if she was like, I don't know. I guess her being like seen as like a godlike figure would be too cliche.
Well, they didn't even in the recording of it, the humans didn't even know that she was there. There's no record of her there, but they suspect.
This was like the
that she was there.
pre-alien days, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the ones
Those
that were still
pre-alien
in, but like
days.
whatever. So speaking of nothing at all related to it, what did you guys think of? I guess the most recent big info drop was that E3 presentation and trailer and stuff. What did you guys think of it?
Let's ponder about that segue.
There was a magical storm that knocked this podcast off course. Samara came down, and suddenly we're talking about the E3 trailer. How about that? Is that okay?
Okay,
Is that
I liked it. I liked the E3 trailer, or the
Wizard.
most EA Play trailer. I like that, but what I don't like is how fans reacted to it.
Oh, how did they? I just watched the trailer recently. Like, how did people
There
react
was
to it?
a lot of hate
Yeah, there
in
was,
the Mass
because they
Effect
thought
community
there
from it.
was going to be more, kind of like there'd been such a long gap between, like they hadn't gotten any information in like since like November 7th of that year. So like November, December, January, February, March. It was March, right? Or was it May?
It was like
March,
7
April, May.
months.
I think so.
7 months or so.
Yeah.
But like the community were all angry at BioWare, saying that they don't know how to do their job, or that they were promising so much. But I don't think BioWare was really promising a huge reveal at E3.
Yeah, they
were
weren't. They said there would be something, but we were all kind of thinking like
We blew it out of the speculation
fans
water.
thought because it's about a year away from launch that they would put out like significant amount of information. What's funny is we got more information from like interviews from the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was a reaction to the fan reaction. So they put out this trailer, that's all they were planning to do, and then people flipped out, so they decided to drop a couple more hints.
Maybe.
I'm not sure that was entirely done, because I'm sure that there were going to be interviews anyways. But I mean,
Maybe they
now that I
gave
think
away
about it,
more
yeah, that
in
may
the
have been some of it.
interviews though because of it. I could see that.
Maybe a bit of damage control, sort of thing. But the thing is, when there's so much time to speculate, like the speculation is always gonna get out of hand, though, isn't it? Like if you leave people to their own devices, they're just gonna like discuss, and it'll be really hard to like deliver to those expectations.
Yeah, and it's similar to how Bethesda did Fallout 4, and apparently there are a lot of BioWare devs that have been saying that they loved the way that Bethesda did their information for Fallout 4.
Yeah, what I think they're trying to do with that is like they like how Bethesda waited until the game was pretty much a finished product. So I think what they're trying to do is a combination of things of they're trying to only show what's like really finished, what you're going to see almost exactly in the game. Because they did get a lot of, with Mass Effect 3, there was a lot of stuff that was said on Twitter that did not end up being in the game. And then with Inquisition, when they did like a demo at PAX, it ended up being very different in game, mainly because last gen caused some problems and really like dragged them down. But I think with this time around, they're trying to mainly just show like what's really going to be the finished product. There's also that EA has some games coming out sooner than Andromeda that maybe they don't want BioWare to hog all of the spotlight by doing
I think that's the biggest thing.
I mean, I feel like EA's really pushing for like Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 a lot more because those are coming out sooner, that they're pushing those a lot more than a game coming out early 2017.
What I find weird though is like they did that initial preview trailer like what now 3 years ago or so for Andromeda. I feel like they shouldn't have maybe done that because I think that got the ball rolling sooner than it should have, you know?
Well, that preview trailer for Andromeda, I mean, the year before, or that, what are you talking about? That wasn't the teaser. That was kind of a BioWare, we are working on the next Mass Effect game, and we're also working on something else.
Yeah, but it did get the fandom ball rolling kind of on it.
I guess.
It's hard to do a Fallout-like reveal if you reveal the game 3 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because Fallout,
Well, I
Fallout
mean, Fallout
was
4,
rumored.
wasn't that announced years ago?
It was rumored.
It was
And
rumored,
you're like,
but
it was so
formally rumored,
obvious that they were working on it that you're like, of course they're working on Fallout. But it wasn't official until it just popped out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they do like a kind of info drop, then like almost like a good 6-7 months of nothing, maybe something after that. So there's kind of these long distances in between the info because they've stretched it out like 3-4 years of coverage.
Obviously, it's way better for us if they give us a bunch of
Yeah,
information to work
obviously
with.
the more info, the
But
better for us, but
Yeah,
is
for
that
you guys.
actually is that actually beneficial
Yeah.
to the game?
And I don't think it would be beneficial because would you rather, and I said this in a video I made about why BioWare shouldn't be, or why BioWare is secretive, but would you rather get all this new information when you open up the game and experience this all yourself, or do you want to be drip-fed every single bit of information?
I want to be drip-fed about maybe like 25 to 50% of the information, just enough to like know what I'm getting into to like get really excited about the game, you know? Versus right now, like I don't know what much is happening in the game.
Just enough
I'm
to
gonna
get that
buy
YouTube
this and
money.
just kind of find out, I guess.
Just
But-
that there are two games that come to mind where they really marketed those well ahead of time. One is Watch Dogs, which got a tremendous response right out of the gate, and then wasn't what it was and got overhyped. And then Destiny was the other one.
Yeah, I was going to say, that got way
overhyped. And because they started putting out stuff way ahead of time and the fan expectations got up real high. So instead of doing that, you could come out with stuff with like a focused 4-month campaign, which is what it looks like they're going to do, and then come out with a game instead of a 2 or 3 year thing. I don't know if
With
I don't know
with
which
BioWare,
is best. We're
they
going to
like
find
to
out.
with BioWare, they like to have a good 6 months prior to release to heavily market. So, like, starting in November would give them 5-ish, 6-ish months. If
Question.
they're coming out late March. Yes.
Question:
Anima,
Is
what's that?
there a game that has actually done this hype thing correct and followed through? Because
I would say Modern Warfare 2.
I haven't played that.
I mean, like, nowadays, I don't think a game can reach the level of hype just because of how big the internet now is.
Yeah, because of the
While
internet,
later
it's
on,
kinda-
in like the late 2000s, like before 2010, like around that area, with Modern Warfare 2 or around those kind of games, Halo 3, things like that, they lived up to the hype. Because there weren't a community of 100,000 people all there every single day talking about ideas and giving speculation, which, as you said earlier, speculation will always overcome any actual thing.
As far as like a 2 year full on drip, I don't recall that ever working.
With Inquisition, they did for a while kind of like a decent steady stream of info, not too much, but not too little. But then kind of they sort of hid the faults of the game, which I mean anyone's going to do in marketing. But then I
Right.
think like a month or two prior to release, it was so intense. It was kind of like too much. And I love spoilers. And I was kind of like, okay, whoa, like slow down. Like they were streaming it on Twitch. It was like, okay, I want to kind of see this for myself. Like you're showing a little too much. Like it was so much info that me and all the other kind of Dragon Age YouTubers were basically throw up our hands and we're like, we can't keep up.
Yeah, that's something I'm not excited for. All the spoilers that we're going to have to delete in our comments and everything like that. Like, you know.
I feel like they're going to do super heavy marketing like a month or two prior to the game coming out. So it's kind of like, please don't do like too much, like enough to where like all of the media outlets can keep up, but not too much to where it's like, oh my God, you know?
Do you think we're going to get any information at Gamescom, which is, I think, next week?
So the thing about Gamescom is Chris Wynn, back, probably, I think it was about a year ago when he tweeted about it almost, that they were going to do Gamescom this year, but he's no longer at BioWare, and plans, I think, have changed because they haven't expressed that they're going. I think they may have tweeted that they're not going.
Well, I know that some of them are going to be at Dragon Con, but I can't really imagine that as a place where they're going to drop Mass
Yeah,
Effect
that's
news.
not going to be like, they released their big con schedule, and there's packs in there and other stuff, but I don't think any of it's going to be significant. Maybe a panel, maybe, like at most, maybe what happened a few years ago at San Diego Comic-Con where they showed like a few images. But other than that, like, I wouldn't expect anything until maybe in 7 Day.
You think
I
that's
would
when we're
agree
going to
with
get our
that.
next trailer, not at PAX
Oh.
West or anything?
When's
I
N7
don't-
Day?
November 7th.
And 7 Day is on November 7th.
Oh,
Get
let me
it?
write that down in
N7.
my calendar.
That's adorable.
I think that's a couple weeks after Titanfall 2, too.
Yeah. gives a
So it
little time
matches
for
up
Titanfall.
perfectly with completely avoiding cross. I was going to say pollination. That doesn't work.
Cross pollination.
Cross pollination
become a biology podcast.
It sounds
Get with
cool. but- biology podcast. Yeah,
You have
avoids
the right
Now
voice.
we're entering the
cross marketing.
science portion
You
of
have the right
podcast.
voice for it, though, Minius. I don't know what it is. I could just listen
Yeah,
to you.
you would you would totally pull off a biology teacher voice.
Can
Yeah,
you-
I can see it.
Can you talk to me about stamen for a second?
Can you explain
About what?
meiosis and mitosis real quick?
You know
Like-
what? This is great. Biology, by far my worst subject. By far.
We picked
So
it
you
on
guys-
purpose.
I was awful with biology.
I'm pre-med, so, you know, there's kind of like a double meaning to that BioFan name there. you know?
Oh, how about that?
God.
There's some super insight.
I think you just blew Anima's mind.
Yeah,
I
you
think
got me.
Anima's just like blown.
I'm
Okay.
dead. I'm talking
Dude,
to you from
I'm
the
a video
afterlife
game
right now.
designer. That's my degree.
That
There
is
you
so
go.
cool.
What?
What?
I'm writing and pre-med. It's
Wow.
it's best of both worlds.
That's two very...
I've
It
already
seems
got-
like those are very not related.
Okay, I like fiction, and I want to be a doctor.
Wow.
So you know.
Well, I don't know what the equivalent would be. I want to call it college, but I'm a bit confused as to like how
Okay,
Americans do it.
So I studied abroad in the UK. I got you.
Oh, you got me. Okay.
I got
I like
you.
that our
Okay, let's go
host
in,
is
right.
perfectly
So, like-
fine with us going off topic, but keep going.
So, well, probably. I don't know if we want to keep this in, but
No, we'll keep it
anyway.
in.
So, like, college in the UK is kind of like our version of community college, where you can go for like 2 years and then do a little bit of college, or you can start it in high school or whatnot. But then, like, university is what we call college here.
Right. Okay.
makes sense?
That makes sense. So my version of college, I did psychology, biology, English, and art. So I don't know. There's like a biology English thing. I don't know. There's something.
You're just a jack of all trades up in here. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's me. But yeah, we should probably get back on topic someday.
Yeah. Okay.
What about the
so-
books coming out? Did you guys read the Did you guys read the Mass Effect books? It'd be cool if I could speak.
I haven't read the past ones. I've read the Dragon Age ones because those kind of contribute to the games and your understanding of choices and stuff.
Oh.
But I haven't read the Mass Effect ones yet, just because like I got into Mass Effect when like Mass Effect 3 was really starting to get hyped up. So I didn't really start reading the books on those. But with Andromeda, because they're releasing at least one book before Andromeda comes out, I will definitely read that because it sounds like it's going to be related to the game, sort of.
No,
kind
yeah,
of.
they are.
Yeah, well, the first one is supposed to be like a prequel to it. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Like when
So
they first...
the first Mass Effect book came out before the original Mass Effect and was a prequel book.
Yes, it was.
Oh wow.
It covered Saren and Anderson, who is not an admiral at the time, and his quest to become a Spectre, sort of.
Wait, so it came out before the game?
Came out before the game.
Yeah.
Wow,
They've been
that's
doing
pretty-
it. They've been
The
doing...
Fall of Reach came out a
pretty
month
cool.
before Halo 1 came out.
It's a pretty common strategy because you get like a following for the game, and then people buy the book before the game comes out, and then once the game's out, people are like, "Oh, there's a book."
Oh, see, that was you just covered my full range of emotion just now. Like
There
they're
you
the
go.
book, like, you know.
But the first book, titled Initiation, I really hope they change the cover because it doesn't look that official. But it's supposed to. It was previewed like a while ago on like Swiss and Polish book websites, and people were like, "What is this? It's by this famous author, N.K. Jemisin. Is this real? Oh my god!" And it turns out that it is. A lot of people are kind of skeptical at first, but then Titan Books released like, "Oh, you thought we were doing one book? We're doing 4." So it was like, whoa! Yeah, the first one's gonna come out before the game launches. Then the next 3 will probably be afterward, and the last one is actually written by Mac Walters, who's the creative director for Mass Effect.
I didn't know that was going to be written by him.
Yeah, he was the lead writer on Mass Effect 3, wasn't he?
Mac Walters.
Yeah, and most of Mass Effect 2, I believe.
So he basically got promoted to creative director, I think. Hold on, I'm gonna check Twitter. It's on there.
That's his official title, I believe. Creative director.
But something I was just trying to figure out is just the way that the books are timed, that I wonder if the first book is a prequel to Andromeda. It's going to kind of follow that. And then the next one is going to follow an adventure that is canon in the game. Like one of the ones that it's not a choice matter, it's a forced canon one. That if it follows that kind of thing.
It's supposed to explore like characters that were in Andromeda, and then answer questions that fans have, but like that's kind of a common marketing phrase, so I don't know how many of your questions will be answered.
There's another theory that was kind of interesting, is that the book that goes after the release date might be a prequel to a huge DLC story that they might release, something on the lines of Shadow Broker or something like that.
Ooh.
That could be cool. I could be down
Like
for
I
that.
think that'd been really cool if they
that.
released even like a kind of like a comic or something about.
Maybe like backstory to characters.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff,
if they
similar
had a
like what they've
graphic
done in the
novel
past.
about the Shadow Broker before we went and took his base, that would have been cool.
Sorry if this
That'd be interesting.
Sorry if this is a dumb question, but do we know any like characters that are like totally gonna be in the game?
No.
Oh.
Well,
Ryder.
They don't have names
We know
per
Ryder.
se, aside from the survey leak names, but those are somewhat subject to change. There's that female Asari with the eyebrows.
Yeah, but I mean, do we?
There's
Wait,
Yeah, but they're not characters yet, they're
characters
pictures
in
or a
1,
name.
2, and 3, or you mean just in Andromeda? Do we know characters?
in
In
Andromeda.
Oh, I thought
period.
you were meaning characters in 1, 2, and
Okay.
3. I was like,
So who do you think that N7 guy that's been in all the trailers and stuff is?
Well, considering my main source of information with everything is Minius, I think it's the Ryder dad.
the dad.
yeah,
dad.
the patriarch.
See, I think that depending on which gender you choose in the game, it might be the other person. So if you pick the male
like
Ryder,
your sibling?
that person would be filled with the role as the female Ryder.
That makes sense since they're trying to kind of make female Ryder the lead in the trailers and marketing material, since Sally K. Ride was the inspiration for Ryder's name. So that would make, and Sally K. Ride is the first American woman that ever went into space. So that would make sense on why he's always male in the
So,
trailers.
yeah, you're saying somewhere out there was an N7 female that is identical and plays the same role.
Yeah, like the Ryder we saw in the recent trailer, if you pick a male Ryder, she would have been like the N7 character, maybe?
Yeah, the thing that put me on Father is that there's this little picture tucked in the N7-day trailer. And I have
Yeah.
a terrible thing in my video that has 3 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that could easily be a father or mother and 2 children that are the Ryder siblings, or it could be an older sibling and the 2. But there's a lot of options at this point.
I think the dad is dead, to be honest, because those dog tags that were also in the N7 trailer,
Oh, that's interesting.
they aren't ours. So I feel like it's probably whose dog tags would you hold on to? It would probably be like a parent or a sibling, or maybe a grandparent.
Oh, this one.
But I think
Oh, no, keep going. Keep going.
so. I think it's probably like the dad is dead, or the mom is dead, or someone close to them is dead. Because otherwise, why would you have their dog tags? That, or we left them behind in the Milky Way. So they're either dead or they're essentially
Or what
dead.
about this? Why does the N7 person have to be related to Ryder? Something that I just kind of thought about is when you're going through Mass Effect, you get a lot of distress where, oh, these people went missing, go check this area, or something like that.
They have to be... We know there's a Ryder family, and they wouldn't be putting him front and center on all of the trailers and marketing material unless he was very important to the story.
He could be important to the story, but he doesn't have to be related to Ryder.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be related. He's important. So people we don't have much to go on, so people are just speculating that he's probably related to us.
He can easily be a commanding officer.
Yeah, he might. I kind of thought in the early stages before we knew that, when all we knew is he wasn't the protagonist, like maybe he's our recruiter. Maybe he's the Anderson of Andromeda.
Oh, well, I was trying to think of him as an antagonist, because as I was saying, in the Mass Effect games, you come across like, oh, go search this area to find this missing crew or whatnot. What if what we were shown there was a missing crew that they've kind of drifted off and have made their way into the Andromeda Galaxy?
Maybe.
And now they're
There's
kind of
also...
like angry in a Star Trek kind of way of, you abandoned us, so now we kill you.
My friend and fellow YouTuber, GamerMD83, kind of thought maybe like they are on the same kind of, not team, but like whatever militarized force that we're on, but they have a different ideology of how to do things. Like if you notice, he's all like in that initial big trailer, he's like going into a planet, pulling out his gun.
Ready to go in,
he's going
firing.
in aggressively. Ready to go in aggressively, firing, violence, whatnot. Anytime you see him, he's kind of fighting or doing something. So she thought maybe like he's kind of like the other person that's acting and doing things, but we have the choice of either to agree with them and go in violently or go in and try and have a peaceful solution. Since that's kind of a common BioWare thing of go in and you have different ways of doing things, maybe that could be...
The thing that makes me think that it's more family orientated is that picture, though, because they're really placed parallel, aren't they? Like to the left is the dog tags, and to the right is this picture, and it's really vague, like who could be in there.
Yeah, I mean, my theory was just a absolute far-fetched one, but...
Right, you're just going for it.
Yeah, I was just going for it.
There's nothing too far-fetched at this point. We know like almost
Speculate.
nothing. So.
That is actually a Krogan who had extensive reconstructive surgery because so badly wanted to have children in a proper way because of the genophage. And then, Krogan are badass, so he was able to complete N7.
Right.
If that's right,
technically possible. I'm gonna say that's probably a no.
If you can fit a Hanar in there somewhere, you are my god.
A Hanar.
There may be Hanar in the game because Cheryl Chi, who is a writer for Andromeda, she tweeted about Hanar humor is really funny or something, and I was like, is that in the game or like an office joke? And she said a little from column A and a little from column B.
Hanar is confirmed, dude.
Hanar is semi-sorta kinda confirmed. Yeah, woo!
Semi-sorta kinda. I'll take that.
On the topic of
take that.
Yeah,
I'm jokes, I loved the goose cam that BioWare in Edmonton set up.
When they have their annual like gooses come in and like roost on the office building and
amazing.
stuff. This year they decided to set up a goose cam. It's hilarious. Their names are like Ganders, as in Anders,
and Erish Hunk.
Erishonk. Yep.
What the?
There's
also
also
3 videos on that.
I've never heard of this.
And Honkquisitor. There's more.
Wait, what? So they've got these geese, and they what?
And when the geese babies
have
were
these
laid,
geese that
they had a poll about some of the names. And there's like Shepherd. There was I'm going to look these up.
But yeah, so basically every year there are these flock of geese that come and roost at BioWare's headquarters in Edmonton. And like and I think it was during Inquisition's development when it like got popular, or when it first started, and they were named like Ganders and Arashonk. And then every year after that they keep coming back, so it's been this kind of running thing of like, when are the geese coming back?
That's amazing. That just gave me, I don't know why, it gave me flashbacks to the Arashok, the great Arashok battle in Dragon Age 2, where you're just like running around the room frantically as you 1v1 him.
Don't hit me!
All right,
Mine was
here, I
just like,
names.
Run away!
The names
What are the
were
names?
Shepbird, Admiral Quacket, Garus, Scout Honking, H-Chick 47, Darth Malgoose, Carver Honk, Bethany Honk, Erdnot Pex, which I think is the best one.
That's a good one.
Quackwall, Cassandra Pentagoose, and the Iron Bill.
I like Cassandra Pentagoose.
I love Erdnot Pex.
Cassandra Pentagoose.
That's a good one as well.
That's a lot of birds.
Well, no, those were polls for the names.
Those are the polls. Yeah, I was thinking that's a huge litter or
No.
whatever a goose. Clutch.
That's a
Is it a
gander
clutch?
right there.
Yes, I think it's a clutch.
Okay.
A little
So
Biology, like I said, I don't have it.
a murder of geese.
Yeah, that's what it's called. A
crows.
group of geese is called a murder. I guess you could say it's a murder.
that's
most
crows,
foul.
though. I thought, no, a group of
Well-
geese is a gander.
Don't approach a murder of geese because there might be a murder and it'll be
Yeah,
you.
I have a deep
Geese will
fear
mess you
of
up,
geese.
man.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this one time I was tubing in Texas. Here we have tubing and stuff sometimes. And there was this army swarm of geese that spotted me, and I was all by myself because I had drifted ahead accidentally. And it was this traumatic childhood experience of fleeing from these geese that were attacking me. I had to like fend them off with my inner tube, and
I
just,
can't
like,
really imagine
run.
geese up in or down in Austin. It seems like it's too hot for them. Down in Texas?
It's not the Canadian geese. It's like just your regular goose, you know?
I was thinking like
just
geese. Like
they have white feathers and gray feathers, but they're not like the pretty Canadian
okay,
kind.
I was thinking
I've
of
just got this
Canadian because I was thinking that's a really weird place for.
I've just got this mental image of you like fending off these geese with like a rubber like
With a big giant inner tube. Oh yeah, I was like pushing it and trying to like bump them away from me while I'm screaming, and yeah, it was a traumatic childhood experience. So is
Yeah,
there
I'm not
any
a fan
other-
of geese. Same reason. I've never been attacked, but oh man.
Is there any other like things you guys are looking forward to that you just want to kind of shoot the about for like 10, 15
I
minutes?
want to see what the multiplayer in Andromeda looks like.
The
I'm excited for
multiplayer.
that reveal.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not a big multiplayer person, but I'm excited for the Andromeda one because ME3's was really good and they really poured a lot into it. So knowing that, I feel like they're going to really put a ton of effort into Andromeda's because it's going to be a big deal.
I really liked ME3's multiplayer. I was surprised
liked
how
it.
much I liked
A
it.
lot of people did
I'm
not
surprised.
like
I
it,
liked
but
it a
I
lot.
really liked it.
Those people are
I
stupid. I'm kidding.
I didn't like how it took you forever to unlock more characters, but other than that, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there were
I liked,
microtransactions.
Oh, there definitely were.
That was kind of like my big beef was like, I'm pretty susceptible to microtransactions, unfortunately. So like if they're there,
really?
I will eventually do them. Even if I'm like, I'll go and I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to. And then like 20 minutes later, like, okay, this is my last
So
time.
that Pokemon Go app.
before.
How about those microtransactions?
I've only done it a few times because I have a lot of Pokestops near me. So like I bought like 100 Pokeballs.
I had to
just
do
so
that.
would be,
Yeah, I
Oh,
did that too.
safe. And then, but now, like, my route that I do, like, power walk or run every day, like, it has a good, like, 7 Pokestops on it. So I can just kind of fuel up.
There was one person that said, what about Mass Effect Go, where you walk around and you make decisions and cry about people?
Excellent.
I could see a Dragon Age app where you hunt for Solus. I'm really looking forward to the Mako, because I think it's going to be actually a pretty cool experience.
The brand new Mako?
I hope
how
so.
They're upgrading it.
I really hope so.
Because think of it kind of like the horse in Dragon Age Inquisition, but a billion times cooler.
Did you guys play shoot. not is it Arkham City was the most recent one?
Arkham
most recent
Knight
Batman
is the
game?
one where you
It's
drive the
Batman.
Batmobile.
Okay, Arkham Knight. Yeah, that's right. Arkham City was the other one. That was kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, except that
They
is
used
like
the
That car follows you around. I
They
mean, it won't be as
used-
crazy, but
They used the technology from Need for Speed to make the makeup.
all right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like with EA games, because they're all under the EA umbrella, will share a lot of like assets and resources. So, or like even just other game companies that aren't related will just be like, hey, we made we'll be like, hey, we noticed you used this cool thing. Could we use it? They'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever. So like, for example, in Inquisition, the Storm Coast waves were taken and then like edited up a bit and customized from Grand Theft Auto, actually.
Well, Grand
Oh,
Theft Auto
whoa.
isn't
Wow.
under EA.
Yeah, but they can still like take something they made in the engine and then like edit it up so it's not the same thing, but just have like a base and then like change it.
I can't wait
Rockstar
for-
is not a bad company to do that with. They're like so on point.
I can't wait for the Dragon Age Inquisition assets brought into Titanfall 2.
That'll be interesting. I wonder what they do.
I was just.
Wait,
I was
is that
just-
a thing?
No, I was just around.
Are there dragons? Because then I might play it.
Although there are weird creatures in Titanfall 2, like dragon-like creatures, but I don't think they're. I was just making a joke.
I'm going to tell you something that will make you view the Dragon Age Inquisition dragons differently, and you'll never be able to unsee it.
Okay,
Are you
hit
ready?
me. Go.
Their movements are modeled after cats.
Oh, really?
So like
can
when
see
they
that.
swipe with their paw and then like retract it and like how they move around, it's modeled after cats.
Aww.
It's like now when I fight one, I'm like, that's cute.
It's cute. That is
Oh,
burning me alive.
man. Yeah.
so you guys
It's
are
a fire-breathing
huge cat
winged
people
cat,
then?
okay?
I
Huge
have
cat
cats
people?
and dogs. I'm more
Okay.
like dogs. Though.
Yeah, I'm
The question
pretty
here that is
animal-friendly
related to
in general.
this is if there was a cat that was like 100 feet tall and like went out and swatted at you, would you have the same reaction?
For a second, I thought this was on the topic of Mass Effect. I
I'd
was
probably
really
wanna
confused as
hug
where a
it,
100-foot cat is.
But
Well, there might be an alien 100-foot cat.
you
It's
know
a
those big
Reaper.
flying things in the mountain planet, you know? Those things could be
you land on a
cat-ish,
planet
you
that's
just
all
don't
made of
know
yarn.
it.
You're like, what is this?
That would be a
You
really
hear like
awesome Easter
thumping
egg.
around.
I
You see
want it.
water move. You're like, oh dear God.
BioWare, do it. Make the cat planet. Do
Are you
it.
kidding? If the cats were there, like, you would just walk up and they just look at you, and you open up a door, and they wouldn't know if they want to go out or in, and they just stare at you, and you put them out, and then they look at you like they want to go back in. You wouldn't know what to do.
Oh, man.
Another thing I noticed from the E3 trailer that could potentially be an overall improvement in an area that BioWare has severely lacked for most of its games is if you look at Ryder, she has a ponytail, which is actually kind of like a longer hairstyle and it even moves a little bit. So I'm hoping that they have improved their hairstyles and the character creators.
Oh.
Something that I
I would
hope
really
that
like that.
BioWare really improves on as well is the ability to talk to a character without accidentally romancing.
Well, I think they've done that better this time around because there's like the heart icon, so you know when you're flirting.
Yeah, because I was like recently playing Mass Effect 2, and apparently I was romancing Jack without even knowing. And I was trying to stay loyal in my playthrough to Liara, so I had to like so during that thing of Jack's like, I know you love me and all this stuff, but we can't do it, so I kept just renegading. And now whenever I try to
You're
talk
like,
to her, she
what?
just yells off. So I can't like talk to her now.
With Inquisition, they did it pretty well in terms of you knew when you were flirting, and with Dragon Age 2 they did. And they're like totally redoing the dialogue system, so I think maybe they'll make it more obvious when you're flirting.
Yeah, because I would love the options to Paragon talk to my teammates without romancing them.
Like, as
well,
you...
they're getting rid of the
Yeah,
Paragon
it's
Renegade.
more
and
gray
I
morality now.
Yeah, what I like though is that getting rid of the Paragon Renegade maybe will make it to where like if you want to be Paragade or whatnot, then it won't like
It's easier to make a choice
come
that
back
you
to
would
get
do.
you later in the game.
Do
'Cause,
we
like,
know
with
that they're
Mass Effect
completely
2
getting rid of that?
Yeah.
Or is it
Yeah,
just
it
going to
was
be
tweeted.
entirely de-emphasized?
They said that it's gone.
Lead designer Ian Fraser tweeted that they were getting rid of the Paragon Renegade. It's being
Okay.
replaced by something else.
But does that mean that
I'm hoping,
interrupts
though,
will
'cause-
be gone?
No, I feel like that's such a classic part that they'll do it, but it will be not quite so black and white. I'm hoping
I would
that,
love
though,
for there to be an interrupt where you're like, you want to console a person, but instead you pull out your gun and shoot them because it didn't tell you if it was Renegade or Paragon. And you're like,
That
oh
would
no!
be such a tragedy.
that would not work out.
I had to
very
pull
well.
back, and I'm glad I saved back there.
The thing I didn't like about the Paragon Renegade system, though, is like, say in Mass Effect 2, like there's a lot of very story important choices that only unlock if you're very Paragon or very Renegade. You can't be a mix of the two in order to get like the best results.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that I'm hoping Andromeda won't have, is that like needing to be on one side or the other. Kind of like limited to how you wanted to play. Like, I want to be a Renegade in this choice, but in that choice I want to do something more Paragon, but I can't because I need to be able to be friends with everyone.
Yeah, I want to be high Paragon, so during the final battle with Saren, I can have him shoot himself so I don't have to fight him.
Yeah, like I'd rather there be like story conditions rather than like dialogue conditions, you know?
They did a
morality
better job with
conditions.
Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
than
with
that.
Mass Effect 3,
So
you
I
could
don't
be
think that's
anything you
would be an
want,
issue
kind
anyway.
of.
I just asked on...
Yeah, they improved it in Mass
I
Effect
just
3.
asked Yannick, Roy, Aaron Flynn, and Ian Fraser on Twitter if Paragon and Renegade aren't going to be in Mass Effect Andromeda, will interrupts be in the game?
That was in the
Did they
leak.
respond?
That
Yeah.
big leak.
About interrupts?
Yeah, they
About
were.
interrupts that they were going to be in there, yeah.
Oh, well, you know,
Now,
hearing a yes or
whether
no
or
might
not
be-
There's such, like,
everything's
an
in that
important-
leak is, I don't know. They may cut some stuff out.
Like,
but
it's pretty legit, but it is, like, what, 3 years old now? So
yeah, things can change.
they could have changed things up.
yeah, it's not that old, but it is old.
Something...
The kind of, yeah, like, it seems like it's pretty legit because everything on there, aside from a few things, has been mostly confirmed.
What was the... Whoa, voice crack. Second puberty hit me. What was the name of the Krogan? Wasn't it Drake?
Or
I
Drac,
thought
think
it was...
Drake.
I think when I first read it, I thought it was Drake. I'm like, I hope to God that is not a Krogan's name.
Yeah,
I think
it's
Drac.
Drac.
Drac sounds like a...
Because that's, I mean,
Drac.
because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Drac
That
and
sounds
stuff
more
like that, but I could
Krogan-y.
have sworn that when I first read the leak, it said Drake, and I was like, please no.
There's also Korra, who unnamed race is biotic.
And there is also a synthetic race that we don't know what it looks like or anything like that, but a synthetic race has been confirmed.
Was
Like,
wait, was
it's
that actually
basically,
confirmed,
like-
or was that?
That
Because
was
there's
in
so
the
many
survey.
In the
leaks.
survey.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that
it was,
race. Okay.
It was in the survey. It's basically like the Andromeda version of Geth.
Yeah, they said that it was
Um,
going to look like I can't remember the name, but like the rock kind of people from Dragon Age Inquisition,
What?
but with glowing lights.
What do you mean rock?
Oh,
people?
what, like the Shale
Yeah,
sort
I
of
think-
type people?
You mean Shale from
Yeah,
Dragon Age?
I think.
Okay.
I think you're referring to that one. I think it was with Xbox Magazine, who's very iffy on their details, by the way, because like they were the people that introduced us to Solus, but they spelled his name wrong. So
Hold on,
I think
I'm looking up the information. Keep going.
I think it was in Xbox Magazine, and it was some reporter went to BioWare or something, and they reported back that they saw like a skeleton race. They looked like kind of bony, and then something that looked like a golem, kind of.
Yeah, I believe that wasn't official. That was leaked, which is
Yeah.
probably.
But it was
Those leaks have been
I don't
really
know.
good, so I believe that.
Not all leaks, but some of them have been pretty good.
Yeah, it was Shale.
There's some I take issue with, but
There are
Yeah, Shale.
robotic defenders in certain I want to call them instances, and that could be them,
yeah.
or they
I
could
wanna
be
know
more
is,
like the Geth,
like-
where they're their own race.
If you look at the enemies in the like teaser that are shooting at him as he like puts up the shield or stuff like that and jumps, they look like robots.
They could be. I also pointed out in one video I did that their feet shape, like it has a hoof, at the end of it. So, and I did some serious foot investigation in all of the Mass Effect races, and they most match actually the Vorcha
Oh,
in their
okay.
foot shape. So
Everyone's
and Vorcha-
favorite race.
Vorcha have the ability to evolve really fast, so maybe these Vorcha that were on, I don't know, for some reason changed their body shape a little bit. beefed up some and have still the hoofs. I don't know. We'll find out. It's probably a new race.
I don't
That's
know
what
if
think,
this
but
theory
I was, looking.
has been around, but what if all the enemies in the Andromeda Galaxy are the previous cycle that they tried to go to the Andromeda Galaxy and but lost contact and stuff like that, so they were stuck there, and they're the enemies.
Well, Javik did die before the very, very end, so maybe like a small group somehow made it out. You never know.
Well, you're talking about 50,000 years
I'm
or
talking
even
about the
100,000
previous
years
cycle.
beforehand. So, like, that was one of my favorite theories brought up by one of my viewers was that the remnant were actually Protheans that left
they would
early
probably-
and then
so
went
people
there and
have
died
that
out. So
theory?
I don't know how extensive it's been
The
examined.
thing though about unless they've heavily changed the design of Protheans in Andromeda, is that Protheans have kind of like flat humanoid-ish feet versus the aliens in that trailer have hooves.
That doesn't mean that's just that one group. I mean, there's going to be more than one. How disappointing would it be if there was one alien type in Andromeda?
That would be disappointing. But I mean,
with a galaxy that's 10 times the size of the Milky Way, with like a good, like stronger. Well, is it 10 times? It's probably more than 10. I don't know. I forget. But it's significantly larger than the Milky Way, and it's also more concentrated with solar systems and planets and everything. So there should be more aliens.
I mean, because
there really should be. I wouldn't be that into seeing more Prothean stuff though. I feel like they've already milked that kind of thing.
I don't want kind of the old stuff. I want new stuff. You know, like if they were to bring the Reapers or something into it, I'd be like, really, guys?
The only thing I want to see is the Hanar. I just want them back. That's all. Maybe the Elcor.
But digressing back to that,
there's also
the theory thing is we don't know what the previous cycles or what the other races look like. We know what the Protheans look like, but while I was doing the research for
didn't
the
Javik say that
we have no idea what they look like?
Didn't Javik say that Prothean was just kind of a general term because the Protheans took over all the
there's
other
the
races
Prothean Empire,
and then everybody called themselves Prothean?
Yeah, there could be
like
a dozen different types of Protheans.
Yeah, but there's the
like there's different types of Protheans. So
Thoriac, something like that.
Thoilan or something like Yeah,
like we have no idea what they look like.
I would really like them to move past the Prothean thing.
Yeah, I want them to kind of move into more new material and not so much the old, except for maybe Easter eggs.
Yeah, I'm already a bit like, remnant. The remnants of a previous civilization. I'm a bit like, okay, you know.
Okay, Prothean 2.0. All right.
Yeah, that's but like it's to be expected though, isn't it? Because you're not like the first ever person to ever get there, so you're gonna find like
we may be. You never know. We may be the first non-Andromedans in Andromeda.
That'd be pretty neat.
I wonder what they're gonna. Are they Andromedans, Andromedites, Andromedians? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Andromenerds. Side note: we're coming to you live from the Andromeda Galaxy. Just
some serious technology.
Getting some really good signal from you.
You got really good signal. It's like 100 bazillion light years away, so really good signal.
Is that 4G? Or what would it be, like a billion G?
It's not 4G. Yeah, it would probably have to be like several billion G.
Several billion G. The rest of the alphabet got involved, yeah.
Well, we've come to the end of the episode, but be sure to catch us next week as we talk about how we're getting to Andromeda and more. For now, we're aiming to be a weekly podcast. Any changes to our release schedule will be announced ahead of time. If you have any Mass Effect related questions for us, feel free to email us at andromenerds@gmail.com, and your questions may be featured in an upcoming episode.
Along with our co-hosts, be sure to follow Andromenerds on Twitter. If you like this podcast and would like to see some more awesome videos, be sure to check out and subscribe to our respective channels.
Splendid. I can edit that and have it working right away. Thank you so much.